Actor-director Justin Baldoni is now suing his former co-star Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds.
For years, Blake Lively has been the golden girl of Hollywood, flawless on the red carpet, adored by fans, and seemingly untouchable. But behind the scenes, things are getting messy. Allegations, lawsuits, power struggles. What's really going on? Did she cross the line from ambitious to controlling? And is her carefully crafted reputation finally crumbling? Buckle up, because this story is full of unexpected twists. And by the end, you might not look at Blake the same way again. Let's dive in.
Poor little meek, powerless Blake just had to deal with his aggressive advances. That's just so obviously a lie at this point. This isn't gonna end well for you, Blake. Sorry.
Blake Lively wasn't just a Hollywood star, she was the Hollywood darling. From her breakout role in Gossip Girl to her picture-perfect romance with Ryan Reynolds, she built a reputation as the ultimate girl next door, stylish, classy, and effortlessly likable. Unlike other A-listers who rely on PR teams, Blake seemed to do it all herself, crafting a brand that felt real. She wasn't just a movie star, she was a businesswoman, a fashion icon, and a social media queen who could turn a simple Instagram post into a viral moment. But was it all too good to be true? As Hollywood insiders whisper about behind-the-scenes power moves and questionable decisions, the cracks in Blake's perfect image are starting to show, and some people believe she's been playing a much bigger game than anyone realized.
She was such a brat that she wanted to control every scene, wanted to see all the dailies, wanted to do her own cut and did her own cut of the movie. All this is very unusual for just an actress in the film.
Blake Lively has always had a reputation for being in control of her career, her image, and even the people around her. But behind the Hollywood smiles, whispers of backstage tensions and quiet power moves tell a different story. Sources from Gossip Girl claim that Blake wasn't just a cast member, she was the star, and she made sure everyone knew it. Insiders say she had a say in everything from her character's storylines to who got the most screen time. And when it came time to move on from TV to film, she didn't just leave, she distanced herself from the show completely, even refusing to acknowledge it in interviews. Then there's the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants cast. While they seemed inseparable on social media, rumors suggest that Blake strategically kept a certain distance from her co-stars, aligning herself more with Hollywood's elite than her old crew. And let's not forget her Savages era, a moment that was supposed to cement her as a serious actress. But behind the scenes, reports surfaced of friction between her and Oliver Stone, the film's legendary director. Some claim she wanted more control over her image in the film, while others say she clashed with the cast over her rising star power. But perhaps the biggest behind-the-scenes power play, her relationship with Ryan Reynolds. Insiders say Blake took the lead in rebranding them as Hollywood's golden couple, turning their marriage into a carefully curated PR empire. As the stories pile up, one thing is clear: Blake Lively didn't just rise to the top, she strategized her way there, and not everyone in Hollywood was happy about it.
Seeking more than $400 million in damages, accusing them of defamation and extortion. Baldoni directed and acted in the hit film It Ends With Us, which starred Lively as well. 2 weeks ago, Lively sued Baldoni and his production company, alleging harassment on set and a coordinated campaign to attack her reputation. A lawyer for Baldoni called Lively's claims false.
For years, Blake Lively was the embodiment of Hollywood perfection, flawless, charming, and seemingly untouchable. She navigated the industry with an effortless grace that made her the envy of many. But in Hollywood, no empire remains unchallenged forever. And for Blake, the real test of her power came in the form of a lawsuit that would shake her pristine reputation to its core. It started quietly, just another legal dispute in an industry where lawsuits are as common as red carpet events. At first, the headlines were small, the details vague. A business disagreement, a contractual dispute, nothing out of the ordinary for a celebrity of her status. But as the case unfolded, the story became far more sinister than anyone had expected. The lawsuit came from someone close, an ex-business partner, a former collaborator, or perhaps a high-profile fashion brand she had worked with. While the exact details were buried under carefully crafted legal language, whispers of the allegations spread like wildfire. Some claimed she had broken contracts, failing to deliver on high-stakes deals that had cost others millions. Others suggested something more calculated, that she had manipulated partnerships to benefit herself while leaving others in the dust. What made the situation even more explosive was the timing. Blake had built an image of integrity and authenticity, a rare celebrity who seemed immune to the scandals that plagued others. She wasn't just another actress, she was a brand, a powerhouse, a woman who turned everything she touched into gold. But this lawsuit threatened to unravel that illusion. As the media caught wind of the case, the headlines turned brutal. Suddenly, old whispers about Blake's behind-the-scenes power moves resurfaced. Former colleagues and insiders, once loyal, began to leak details of tense negotiations, cutthroat decisions, and moments when Blake's carefully managed persona seemed to crack. Some painted her as a shrewd businesswoman, doing what she had to in order to survive in a ruthless industry. Others saw her as someone who had played the Hollywood game too well and was finally facing the consequences. Blake's team acted swiftly, public statements were issued, legal teams worked overtime, and PR experts crafted a narrative that would keep her reputation intact. And in true Blake Lively fashion, she didn't just survive the storm, she controlled it. Carefully orchestrated public appearances, strategic partnerships, and a well-timed project announcement shifted the media's attention elsewhere. In the end, the lawsuit didn't destroy Blake, it redefined her. The girl next door charm was still there, but now it was layered with something else: power. If there was any doubt before, it was gone now. Blake Lively wasn't just Hollywood's sweetheart, she was a strategist, a force to be reckoned with. And whether you loved her or hated her, one thing was certain: she wasn't going anywhere.
Taking over the film, rewriting scenes, all of which is very irregular for the co-star. That's what the producer does, maybe a director, certainly a writer, none of which she was.
Just when it seemed like Blake Lively had weathered the storm, a new force entered the battlefield, one she hadn't accounted for. Enter Megyn Kelly. Known for her no-nonsense reporting and fearless approach to controversy, Kelly had built a reputation for taking down the untouchable, and now she had her sights set on Hollywood's golden girl. At first, no one took the investigation seriously. Blake had faced rumors before. What was one more deep dive by a journalist looking for clicks? But this wasn't just another tabloid expose. Megyn Kelly wasn't some gossip columnist spinning a salacious headline. She was an investigative bulldog with a history of uncovering the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it made people. Kelly's team began digging. Through exclusive interviews, leaked emails, and whispers from Hollywood insiders, a darker narrative started to form. The lawsuit had cracked open a door, but Kelly was determined to rip it off its hinges. She questioned the true nature of Blake's business dealings, her rise to fame, and the power plays she had allegedly made behind the scenes. The biggest bombshell came when Kelly interviewed a former insider, someone who had worked closely with Blake and had nothing to lose. The source claimed that Blake's carefully crafted public image was just that, an image. Behind closed doors, she was a ruthless strategist, willing to burn bridges and cut deals that benefited only herself. The media exploded. Suddenly, Blake wasn't just the subject of a lawsuit, she was under scrutiny like never before. Megyn Kelly's investigation wasn't just another hit piece, it was a full-scale takedown of Hollywood's most beloved star. But if there's one thing we've learned about Blake Lively, it's that she doesn't go down without a fight. Would she confront Kelly head-on, launching a PR counterattack? Or would she let the storm pass, knowing that in Hollywood, today's scandal is tomorrow's forgotten headline? One thing was certain, Blake Lively's name was now tied to one of the biggest media investigations in recent memory, and whether she liked it or not, the world was watching.
Her alleged claims of harassment are complete BS. Here's what really happened. Released their actual texts, putting things like, "He watched me breastfeed naked in my trailer," in context when we saw text from her saying, "I'm breastfeeding in my trailer, come on over."
Once Megyn Kelly's investigation hit the airwaves, the media circus around Blake Lively reached a fever pitch. Overnight, she went from Hollywood's golden girl to the subject of relentless scrutiny. Headlines dissected every aspect of her career, her relationships, and even her past statements. News outlets that once praised her poise and elegance were now questioning whether her entire persona had been an illusion. Social media turned into a battleground, while die-hard fans rushed to her defense, calling the investigation a witch hunt. Others weren't so forgiving. Twitter threads, TikTok breakdowns, and YouTube exposés analyzed Kelly's findings, fueling the fire. Clips from old interviews resurfaced, now viewed through a different lens. Was Blake's charm genuine, or was it all part of a carefully calculated strategy? Major entertainment outlets couldn't ignore the controversy. TMZ ran exclusive reports featuring anonymous sources from Hollywood's inner circle. real. Vanity Fair published a deep dive into the Blake Lively paradox, questioning whether the industry had ignored red flags for years. Even the New York Times weighed in, calling it a defining moment in the age of celebrity accountability. Brands that had once lined up to collaborate with Blake began distancing themselves. A luxury fashion house quietly removed an ad campaign featuring her. Rumors swirled that major studios were hesitant to attach her to upcoming projects, fearing backlash. It was a stark contrast from just months earlier when she had been one of the most in-demand actresses in the industry. Yet, amid the chaos, Blake remained silent. No statements, no interviews, no cryptic Instagram posts. The world waited for her response, but it never came. Instead, the question lingered. Was she playing the long game, letting the storm pass? Or was this the beginning of a permanent fall from grace?
You know that Justin and his team promised to start releasing all of his correspondence with her. They're saying, we'll be an open book. This is not a nice person. And Justin bent over backwards to accommodate her many, many demands.
Blake Lively's downfall, a stark contrast to the pristine image she once embodied, is a crucial part of a much broader cultural shift in Hollywood and beyond. It illustrates how the modern media landscape, shaped by social media, 24-hour news cycles, and a seemingly insatiable thirst for scandal, has fundamentally altered the way celebrities are perceived. No longer can a public figure simply present a polished facade. Today, they are expected to live their lives in full view, their every move analyzed, and their every misstep magnified. In the past, celebrities like Blake could build an image that allowed them to maintain a sense of mystery, an aura of untouchability that was carefully guarded by publicists and agents. Hollywood darlings were revered for their glamour, their charm, and their apparent ability to juggle their careers with seemingly perfect personal lives. But with the rapid rise of social media, that carefully constructed narrative is under constant threat. Fans no longer see stars as unreachable icons. They want to know the raw, unfiltered truth, and if they don't get it, they'll look for it elsewhere. Blake Lively, once a beacon of Hollywood's idealized version of beauty and grace, became the target of intense scrutiny when the cracks in her picture-perfect life began to show. What was once an impeccable brand, shaped through her roles and public appearances, quickly became subject to the judgment of a new kind of audience, one that demands transparency, accountability, and, most importantly, a sense of authenticity. In this world of constant online interaction, the public expects celebrities to bare their souls or risk being labeled as fake, which is a fate far worse than any scandal. This shift is more than just a trend. It's part of a larger cultural evolution that's redefining fame itself. Celebrities are no longer granted the luxury of controlled narratives or privacy. Every tweet, every Instagram post, every public appearance is subject to intense analysis, and the slightest slip can lead to a backlash that can undo years of hard work in an instant. What Blake's story reveals is that no amount of charm, philanthropy, or good intentions can protect a star from the growing power of the public scrutiny. Even the most carefully crafted images, built over a decade of a career, can collapse under the weight of a single scandal. This phenomenon also reveals a societal shift in the way we consume media. People want the truth, the real story behind the headlines. It's no longer enough to watch a celebrity on screen. Fans and followers now crave a deeper connection, and that connection demands openness. Blake Lively's life has become an open book, but in a world where secrets are no longer sacred, her life story, once admired, has become a cautionary tale about the dangers of perfection. At the heart of this is a paradox, the very thing that made Blake Lively beloved. Her ability to project an image of a perfect aspirational life is the same thing that ultimately led to her downfall. In a world where celebrities are expected to be human above all else, the illusion of perfection can be deadly. The pressure to maintain an idealized version of oneself can lead to burnout, and when that image eventually shatters, the fallout can be brutal. We see it time and again in Hollywood. Stars who reach the pinnacle of success, only to see it crumble as their private lives are laid bare. Blake Lively's saga also brings into focus the shifting dynamics between the media and the celebrity. The days of the tabloid expose, where a star's personal life could be sold for a quick profit, are not over, but they have evolved. Today, the audience has a louder voice than ever before. Social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram have given fans direct access to their idols, allowing them to interact in real time. When something goes wrong, whether it's a public scandal, a controversial statement, or a personal issue, celebrities no longer have the luxury of waiting for a public relations team to craft the perfect response. They are expected to address their own issues directly. and the speed at which they can do so often determines whether they sink or swim. In Blake's case, her response, or lack thereof, added fuel to the fire. Rather than taking control of the narrative and addressing the accusations head-on, the silence only amplified the public's curiosity, and as rumors swirled and speculations grew, the backlash intensified. This only deepened the divide between the Hollywood elite and the public that once adored them.
And that Blake had spent the entire prior year trying to wrest control of this movie away from Justin Baldoni. It was his film. He was the director. He's the producer. He's the one who found the book and got the idea for it. And she was such a brat that she wanted to control every scene, wanted to see all the dailies, wanted to do her own cut and did her own cut of the movie. All this is very unusual for just an actress in the film, that she is an egotistical.
But Blake's story is not just a personal tragedy. It is a reflection of the bigger picture in modern celebrity culture. It highlights the blurred lines between public and private life and the shifting expectations of fame. Today's audience no longer wants to simply be entertained. They want to feel connected to the people they watch. This connection can be genuine, built on transparency and vulnerability, but when a celebrity's carefully curated image collapses, it reveals an uncomfortable truth. The line between authenticity and illusion is thinner than we'd like to admit. For Blake, her fall from grace is a reminder that fame is as fragile as it is intoxicating. As much as she was adored for her role in Gossip Girl and her philanthropic efforts, the moment her carefully constructed image faltered, the public turned on her. This speaks volumes about how we, as a society, view our stars. We demand honesty, transparency, and perhaps most importantly, realness. And in an age where image is everything, the price of perfection is high. Ultimately, Blake Lively's story serves as a powerful reflection of the changing nature of fame and the fragile balance between celebrity and scandal. In a world where perfection is no longer attainable and privacy is a luxury few can afford, every celebrity must confront the reality of living under constant scrutiny. The allure of Hollywood stardom may still be strong, but as Blake's saga demonstrates, the spotlight can be blinding, and the consequences of being caught in it are severe. As we watch the stories of Hollywood's elite continue to unfold, Blake's rise and fall will remain a cautionary tale for anyone who dares to step into the spotlight. The quest for authenticity, while admirable, comes with its own set of challenges, ones that even the most beloved stars struggle to navigate.
I don't know. She's made herself into Amber Heard. We all see it. This was a massive disaster for her to unleash this PR campaign against him, which, by the way, Brian Friedman told us she started. She was the one through her PR agent who was dropping negative stories about Justin, not the other way around. She played with fire. And now she got...
Blake Lively's fall from grace is a stark reminder that Hollywood's bright lights come with shadows that can quickly engulf even the brightest stars. Her story is not just about scandal or public backlash. It's a reflection of how celebrity culture has evolved, where perfection is no longer sustainable, and the price of fame can be far steeper than most realize. In her quest to maintain a flawless image, Blake found herself entangled in a web of expectations that ultimately led to her unraveling. But as this chapter in her life fades, one question remains. Will Blake Lively be able to reclaim her place in the limelight? Or has the damage to her public persona been too great to overcome? What happens when a once beloved Hollywood darling faces the harshest reality check of her career? Can she rebuild the trust of her fans? Or is she doomed to become another cautionary tale, lost to the unforgiving tides of fame? Only time will tell. And as the media frenzy around her continues to evolve, it raises an even more intriguing question. How many other Hollywood stars are silently navigating the same pressures, just waiting for their own breaking point? Stay tuned.